Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs?
That sounded like an evil laugh.
Yeah.
That was the Joker.
It could have been. It could have been the Joker. I'm just excited. You know, we're cruising here to the end of the fantasy season. So hopefully got to win this week because it is crunch time. This is it.
Yep.
Rick checked out.
In the redraft league. You know. But I have 2 10-2 teams that both lost this week because they were 10-1.
Can you please stop that?
What, that my dynasty leagues are just
No.
so nasty?
No, that you can't win a freaking game in the home league for 4 straight years.
Listen.
It's embarrassing at this point.
Every single year, how many injuries have I had in the last 3 years?
Like a significant amount.
It's hard to win in redraft when your first, second, or third round pick gets injured every single year consistently.
It's the dynasty. The dynasty leagues are distracting you.
I think it's just because I have built dynasties in my dynasty leagues.
Yeah. That could be it too. That could be it. But anyway, yeah. So week 12 is in the books. Hopefully you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Rick and I are back. Oh.
Yes, sir.
After a hiatus for
Thanksgiving off.
I ate a lot of crap all weekend.
Oh yeah, did you?
So I have to smash the gym and just eat protein for the rest of my life. No carbohydrates.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then you'll be fine.
And then I'll be fine until Thanksgiving. Until Christmas. But anyway, so this episode we're gonna bring you a weekly recap, waiver wire pickups, and help you make some decisions in that aspect. On the next episode, we'll talk about the Thursday night football game and preview that. Get you ready for that. Before we do the weekly recap and waiver wire pickups, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, please leave a review. Share this pod with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below. Now, I'm curious, Rick. I got to pull this up on my phone because the web browser version of Sleeper is just kicking me in the nuts today. I wanted to look at all your leagues. How we doing? I just want to let you know that I am 5-6 in a league, 7-4 in another league, 8-3 in another league. Oh, see these numbers haven't gone through yet with my wins this week. So let me re-up.
Oh, were you winning?
6-6.
There you go.
In a league, 8-3 9-3 in a league. Sorry, and then I'm 5-7 in a league. I'm trying to tank in, and then a league I had no business tanking in. I lost in a 7-4 league, so now I'm 7-5.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have one dominant team. I did lose Joe Burrow, but I still win.
So my worst record in all of my leagues, and I'm in a decent amount, is our home league. In my dynasty leagues, 10-2.
Nope.
I'm updating my wins or losses. 6-6.
Okay.
8-4.
Josh, sir.
10-2. 8-4. And that would be 6-6. So that's a tough one. I have 2 6-6 leagues, but those are both playoff teams still.
Yeah.
And then I'm in one more league on a different app, and I'm openly tanking in that league. I'm starting Bryce Young and Bailey Zappi as my quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So I think I'm 1-10. So I'm gonna get Caleb on the Pats, and then we'll all be.
I'm not gonna lie though, simply just setting your lineups on a week-to-week basis is, that'll get you half of your wins if you're just paying attention. Because I was trying to tank in this league, but I just kept on sitting my guys. Starting, the best players available, and I'm 4-7, 5-7 now. So now I'm like, maybe I should just try to win.
You have too many. I'm looking at are you talking about the Champs League?
Yeah.
You have CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown. and Debo.
Yeah, but I was still trying to tank.
That's kind of hard to tank when you're starting those three guys every single week. And Dak has been since what, like week 6, he's been like a top 3 quarterback or top 2 quarterback.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I guess you're right. But then you look at my bench.
Yeah, you have no depth.
You guys can't see my bench, but my best players on my bench are
Take a
probably
look at my
Jonathan
team.
Mingo and Sky Moore. Why did I waste a first round pick on Sky Moore? Yeah,
I have Tank Dell on my taxi squad.
First round pick for him.
Maybe.
You know what? I'm gonna wait.
I have Jefferson, J.K. Dobbins, Tank Dell. This is my bench. Okay, Michael Thomas, Aaron Jones, Jameson Williams. I had Nick Chubb that I traded for a second round pick because I was like, whatever, he's injured. Trey McBride on my bench. My starting lineup: Zay Flowers, Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, George Kittle, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Swift, Tony Pollard, Jalen Hurts equipped.
Sounds like old mans are us.
Bro, yeah, like Zay Flowers and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, you got some replacements, but some of those guys are old man.
Justin Jefferson, man, real old.
All right, shut the frick up. All right, weekly recap. Let's get to it. Rick and I are doing okay in Dynasty, and Rick sucks in redraft. I mean, I haven't been good either, but that's neither here nor there.
I'm actually in another redraft league that I forgot to mention, and I'm doing pretty good in that one.
Oh, good.
It's just this league.
All right, QB booms and busts. Let's start with the booms. Josh Allen did everything he possibly could to win a football game yesterday, and the Bills just are not there. And you know what everyone's going to do? They're going to run around and say, the Bills need a second wide receiver. Like the Chiefs need a wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's like a singular guy with arms.
I don't think the Bills' offense is really their problem.
No.
If I was a Bills fan, I would be calling for either a head coach change or some defensive personnel.
Yeah, and they're all old too, so they got to reset on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen gets 40, so fantasy-wise, you're feeling good. Jalen Hurts, another one of the top. These guys are probably the top 2 fantasy options performing this week. 35.5 for Jalen Hurts, so he cooks this week. All in the same game. That was a fun game to watch. And then Dak Prescott again. 32.
QB3 on the season now.
Yeah, he's cooking. Dak has decided that he's good.
You know, now people are talking about him as MVP of the league. The quarterback market this year is just tough.
Okay,
and that has become a quarterback award.
So here, I want to let you know something. Dallas, who'd they play yesterday?
They played on Thanksgiving. It was the Commanders.
Oh, that's right. All right. So, did you know the Dallas Cowboys have not played a team with a winning record this year?
You'd saying they're on fraud watch?
They are totally on fraud watch because, or they haven't had a win against a team with a winning record.
Yeah.
They have played the Eagles and lost, and I believe I can't remember who else they played that had a winning record, but they lost. I think it was San Francisco, and they lost that one too. Fraud watch.
Yep.
Easiest schedule in the league. Fraud watch. But Dak doing good. Hey, league winner. Woo, whoa. Maybe. Because he was like he was not a high pick. He was in the vicinity of Tua.
Right, that's true. He was Oh no, yeah, you're right. He was in that facility.
QB busts. Geno Smith 8.3. So Geno's just out at this point. Don't start him every week.
Yeah.
Tua 9.8. Riding the Tua wave. I told you guys, he's a streaming option. Tua's a streamer.
Yeah, he might be better with the quarterback injuries. He's probably a start.
Yeah. You're probably right, but my God, if he has a red matchup, it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd honestly try to find a better option, but Tua gets 9, and then Brock Purdy Thanksgiving night at 11 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
So he who has been starting in some fantasy leagues here. I
might start him this week.
Oh, there you go. But he had 11 points, so maybe he'll have a bounce back week and be better for fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about the running back booms. Oh boy. So Rick is a Devin Achane owner, and this is what he hoped Achane would do when he got back from his injury.
He re-injured his leg on the first play.
Yes, but Kyron Williams comes back and gets 38.4, and I traded him for Mike Evans. So conflicted. Should I send that trade directly back?
Yeah. But what's his schedule? He has a tough schedule, doesn't he?
Yeah, so does Mike Evans.
Oh, well.
I don't know what to do.
Mike Evans is good.
No, he is. I'm fine with Mike Evans. I needed a running back, and I traded it away to get another wide receiver.
I don't get that logic.
I figured that
you needed a running back.
Everyone's running back 2 in our league is exactly the same. Like, it's all mid. And if I can just survive with like 10 to 12 points, and figure it out, which I have done on the week-to-week basis, I'd rather do that at running back than figure it out and get confused at flex with wide receivers and running backs.
That's fair.
I have just one weak position, but no one will take digs for 2 players. So that's how dumb my league is. But Kyron Williams, 38.4 fantasy points. He cooks. I'm curious to see how high he moves up the rest of season rankings here on Fantasy Pros, because my goodness, that is a monstrous game from Kyron Williams. I'm looking now to see if people have updated it, because he was running back 21 when he started the week. Currently, he is still RB. He's RB 18, so he moved up a little bit. Not a lot though. I think he'll move up all the way into the
He probably will.
Top 7. All right. Christian McCaffrey had 30, so he's doing normal stuff. And then Bijan Robinson finally getting opportunity here to explode. He gets 27.3, so congratulations to Bijan Robinson for having a good week. Finally, a fantasy asset for the Atlanta Falcons actually doing something.
He still only had a 63% snap percentage.
Yeah, because Tyler Algier still had 10 carries.
That's so gross, dude. He needs to be getting 30 touches a game.
Yeah, realistically, it is basically. I mean, you have Drake London and Kyle Pitts, so maybe you should spread that out a little bit.
Okay, 25 touches a game.
Yeah, all right.
He should be getting 95% of the running back touches.
Yeah, for sure. Well, okay, 75 is probably okay. Keep him healthy, all right? We don't want to drive him into the ground.
What does McCaffrey get?
He gets
McCaffrey's at like 80.
Yeah. Oh, you meant snap percentage. Yeah, he's around 75 to 80. All right, busts. At running back, Dameon Pierce had 2.8. So if you started him on the comeback trail, they were easing him back in. Congratulations.
Is he even the starter anymore?
Do you think Singletary stole his job?
I think he might have.
Singletary was inefficient this week. He was good through the air, but on the ground he was god-awful.
Pierce just hasn't done anything this year, even before the injury.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe I have Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, there you go.
Saquon Barkley had 6.4. Watched the Saquon Barkley owner live in my house suffer through that football game that was the Patriots Giants game, and
shaking about it.
He literally was screaming at the TV every time DeVito dropped back to pass. Barkley's open. It off. Barkley's open. I literally yelled at him, "You can't dump it off every play."
He only got 1 catch though.
No, I know. But DeVito does not like dumping it off the running back, so that's what I found out.
Yeah, he's a gunslinger. 6-yard passes.
I'm not sure how many leagues had Antonio Gibson starting. 6.7 though, if you did. So he busted this week.
Not great.
Wide receiver booms. Tyreek Hill again. Here we go.
Classic.
Number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football. Mike Evans had 25, so good week for him.
Yep.
And then Rashee Rice, Rick, 24.7. Yep. Do we have a Chiefs receiver that we can have on our team?
I think
startable.
He has been a flex before this breakout game. He's been close to flexible every single week.
We like flexible here on the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football.
We do. I think he's a flex. He's their wide receiver 1. Which still isn't I don't know how consistent it is, but
I tried to trade for him several times and it wasn't working.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, because the rookie team.
Hey, look at the next 2 guys on this list. The 4th and 5th receiver, both on my team this week. Devontae and Nico. You might just get hit with the Nico.
Oh, the guys further down. I was like, wait a minute, I don't see them on my list. I'm looking at the show notes, home dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Nico Collins had a good week.
24 fantasy points, 23.
You know what? I think as good as Tank Dell has been, and as good as Nico has been, it's CJ Stroud. That's why.
Dell, he is. I mean, he's electric.
Yeah, I agree.
But
it is
CJ Stroud.
I want to trade for him so bad.
Because Nico with Davis Mills was beyond mid. Or just mid.
or just straight mid.
Yeah. So with CJ Stroud, he's all of a sudden the top, 15 receiver in the league, 16 receiver fantasy-wise. So
yeah,
I think that's more of a Stroud thing.
All right, let's move to the wide receiver busts of the week. We had Adam Thielen get a solid 1.2 fantasy points.
Yeah, he finally came back down to earth, hasn't he?
Yeah, he after the bye, he had 15, 7, 10, 15, and 1 in PPR leagues. So he has been no good for fantasy football. I'm kind of curious. What week was his bye week?
Week 7.
So I want to go tight ends from week 8 to 12 here. I mean, wide receivers from week 8 to 12. Adam Thielen down that stretch is a wide receiver 36.
Yeah, that seems more of where we thought he would be going into the year.
Yeah, because that's where he was going in drafts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's kind of come back down to where he should be. I don't know, like, are you starting him in your flex every week, or what do we do with Adam Thielen?
That's a great question.
Don't have him in a single league, so
you probably got to where you are. Like if you're like a 7 or 8 win team, 6 win team, partly because of Adam Thielen's great start.
Yeah,
I don't know what your options look like, but if you have better options, then yeah, you'd probably start those guys over him, but you might not.
Jerry Jeudy had 3.1.
Is he dead?
Yeah, no, he's been okay, like from time to time.
Has he?
Yeah. Hold on, let me look. Yeah, he's mid. He's wide receiver 54, so he sucks. But yeah, he's like 5, 13, 8, 11, 4, 11, 13, 6, 10, 3.
I feel like he's dead.
Depends on the week. Rick's like, he's dead in the water. You might be right. And then Amari Cooper at 3.6, so he actually busted. But this is Amari Cooper without Deshaun Watson, so
that's not going to look good.
I probably don't want to start him rest of season, if I'm being honest.
I don't really either.
But so you lose out there. That's bad news bears for them. Let's move to tight end booms. We have Pat Fryermuth with 21. So the Muth shows up. Has a good
I tried to pick him up and somebody already did.
Yeah, so I did too. That's about the 4th person in the home league that I've heard say that.
I tried to pick him up before Sunday.
Yeah, so next week, a guy in our league has a bye week at his tight end position, and Pat Fryermuth was available, and he picked him up before the game started, just as a preface for the next bye week. Thinking ahead, smart stuff to do. I commend him for that. I waited too long.
So then he dropped 21.
Yeah, then he dropped 21, and now I'm like, crap, I need a tight end this week because I have Dalton Kincaid. What do I do? But he had a really, really good week. What are you doing with Pat Fryermuth moving forward, Rick?
Well, if you don't have a tight end like most of the league, I would plug and play him.
Okay.
He was Arizona this week, so I mean,
Higbeast, Tyler Higbee.
Yeah,
19.9. So I don't know. Maybe getting Kyron Williams back helped the Rams be good again.
He still only had 5 targets.
Yeah, I know.
2 touchdowns.
And then you had Sam Laporta with 17.7. So some good tight end performances this week, which we haven't seen in a couple of weeks. Busts, Logan Thomas with 3.5. Kyle Pitts with 4.2 and George Kittle with 4.9.
Man, it's sad to see Kyle Pitts too.
Dude, he fell apart, huh? Like it was like, oh my God, Kyle Pitts is here.
And then it went back down to suck.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks.
Why is he getting 50% snap percentage?
Because Arthur Smith is a dope.
2 targets, 50% snap percentage.
Hey, Arthur, I hope you hear this. I don't care what status you have in society. You are a moron. I don't know how people like you can hold a job, because if I was as bad as you are at your job, I'd get fired.
Seriously. And then George Kittle just has his annual crap game.
Whew. Yeah, George. Well, it was bound to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I was
He
actually.
had 4 straight weeks
I
with
think I was
13
playing
plus.
George Kittle in fantasy, and I'm like, thank God I'm playing him this week, because he's had 4 straight weeks with 20+ points, and
Yeah.
that's not gonna. It can't happen again.
No.
So there are your booms and busts. Any more thoughts on these players or the week overall?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about some waiver wire pickups that we have. Jump into the trends tab on fantasy, not fantasy pros, sleeper, and talk about some guys that are trending up at the quarterback position, and go from there. All right. So a quarterback, I'm surprised this man is rostered in 52% of leagues, but it makes sense after the tough stretch of games that he was having. But Jordan Love, he's trending up this week because of the 29-point, or let's say 26-point game that he had against the Detroit Lions. So what do you like? Is Jordan Love an ad for you at this point?
Oh yeah, he is, but I don't think he's available in a lot of competitive leagues.
Yeah, because
but if he is, then yeah. Although I will say this week he's up against Kansas City, so might not be great. But he's been good. He's the QB9 on the year, so, and he's consistently getting like around like 18 fantasy points is about his average, so it's pretty good.
Yeah. So I would definitely, like, in redraft leagues, PPR redraft leagues, Jordan Love is only rostered in 52%.
Also, his schedule, he has the Chiefs this week, which is tough, but then after that, week 14 to 17, which is the rest of the season, is pretty good. Giants, Bucks, Panthers, and Minnesota.
Yeah, so if Jordan Love, he is available in 48% of sleeper leagues, in redraft sleeper leagues. So I would try to acquire Jordan Love if possible, and see if you can roll it, because like Rick said, that schedule down the stretch, KC not easy this week, so you probably can't start him this week. But against the Giants, Tampa Bay, Carolina, and Minnesota, that's kind of like an easier stretch of games down the stretch of the season. So, not bad there. Matt Stafford had a really good week this past week. Actually, that is correct. He had 24 fantasy points, I believe. So, really good week. 4 touchdowns, 229 yards. He's got Cleveland this week, which is a tough matchup. I think Stafford, to me, is streamable. But this week against Cleveland, not a streaming option. And you got Baltimore the following week after that.
That doesn't look good.
So it's not good there. But after those two games, Washington week 15, New Orleans week 16, New York Giants week 17, that looks like a good stretch of games. So if you want to pre-add Matt Stafford, if you're streaming quarterbacks, that might be a good idea. But what are your thoughts on Stafford?
Yeah, I'm a lot lower on Stafford compared to Love. I probably wouldn't want to pick him up. But as you said, his playoff schedule looks good. So... And he is streamable if he has a good matchup. But against bad matchups, I wouldn't trust him at all, because outside of this week, he hadn't scored more than 17 fantasy points the entire season.
Yeah.
So, but against good teams, or good matchups, like the Colts, for some reason the Eagles is a good matchup. Like, he was getting 17, 16. So, like, he could put up some fantasy points against good matchups. So, I think against the Commanders and the Saints and the Giants, he can get like 17, 18 points and be a good stream, but I wouldn't trust him against the Browns this week or the Ravens next week.
Yeah. I agree. Russell Wilson, he's been...
Yeah, Broncos country.
Let Russ cook.
Let Russ cook.
He's QB 14 on the season. He has also been a streaming option. He's been consistently around 15 to 20 fantasy points. Doesn't really put up massive performances, though. He has Houston this upcoming week in week 13. Are you picking up Russ this week?
Well, I would rather play Russ than Stafford this week. I'll say that.
Russ or Love?
That's tough because Love's against Kansas City.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe I ride the hot hand with Jordan Love, I think. Even with the tougher matchup.
I'd say Russ.
Okay, that's probably safer.
52% of leagues he's rostered in, so if you want to go pick up Russell Wilson, he is available. Outside of that, quarterbacks, any other thoughts? Or
no.
Okay.
I used to see Trevor Lawrence the last 2 weeks after we basically said that he was
he's
the
been
biggest
good, but
bust.
he's still rostered in 89% of leagues.
Yeah, no. But
Yeah.
32 and 25 his last 2 weeks.
All right, let's move to the running back and talk about some running backs that you can grab and snag and pound on your team. Is there a problem with Travis Etienne? Because why is Dearness Johnson getting picked up, my friends?
He missed like one series, but he came back in the game.
Okay, so don't pick up Dearness Johnson. What the heck are you guys doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Samaje Perine from Denver has been picked up a lot as well. Do we know what's going on with Devontae?
I think McLaughlin, the guy who has been the pass catching back,
He's gone.
didn't play this week,
Okay.
or he was like benched because Perine got his snaps. But Perine's another guy that I know he's the number one ad, but
Yeah.
he only had a 27% snap percentage and a big touchdown run. But outside of that, he didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
We're at the point of the year where waiver wire is dead.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, the wide receiver position there's probably a good chunk of players.
There might be a
available,
receiver or two.
Running back is tough. Give me a running back here that you want to pick up.
There isn't
that's
one, but I'll
rostered
say
50% or under.
50% or under? Oh,
Yeah.
you just made it harder.
Yep.
You made it way harder.
I'd speculatively add Roshan Johnson.
I would speculatively add Royce Freeman.
Okay.
I don't like it, though.
That sounds good. No waiver budget on any of these running backs, though.
No.
Juba Hubbard did have an interesting day yesterday. I noticed that he was getting a lot of opportunity. I didn't know what his numbers were until this morning. 5 targets, 5 catches, 14 rushes, 45 yards. 20 fantasy points. So, 3 yards a carry, very bad. But clearly they're giving him more opportunity than Miles Sanders. So,
no, he's the lead back there.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe you want to take a look at him. He is rostered in 65% of leagues, so most likely not available. But just take a look at those guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about some wide receivers. We did have for Arizona Greg Dortch, another Greg Dortch appearance the last 2 weeks since Kyler Murray got back. I don't know what it is with Kyler Murray and Dortch, but there's got to be some kind of connection here. He has, efficiency wise, not been wonderful, but he has gotten 8 and 9 targets. So
quickly with Dortch, it has looked good, and I think there is a connection there at Kyler. Michael Wilson, I just looked it up. Their third receiver, typically the rookie, has not played the last 2 weeks.
Oh, so Dortch is the reason why he's the.
Greg Dortch was pretty much a healthy scratch the entire season, except the last 2 weeks. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to continue that when Wilson comes back.
Yeah, he's only rostered in 4% of leagues, and he's probably going to be free. So I wouldn't add him unless he's available later in the week, and you can do it for free, and you have a lot of roster space available. But
right,
if Michael Wilson is going to be out more time, I mean, what are we doing? Jaden Reed definitely got to be rostered, right?
Yeah, he's 4th on this list, but I think he should be probably number 1. Every year we have a rookie wide receiver that has a mid-season breakout, and this year it's been Jaden Reed. Since his bye week, he's been really solid. He's only had 1 game under 10 fantasy points. Last 3 weeks, especially 18, 19, and 15. And it's not all touchdowns. He's having some games in there where he gets big plays. So, and he gets used in the running game. He gets 4 carries, 3 or 4 carries a game. So they use him in a bunch of different ways. He should be picked up, and he's been a good flex since the bye.
Yeah, I agree. Outside of Jaden Reed, though, I think Reed, I agree with Rick, 54% rostered, so he's going to be a guy that you want to add this week. I would also like to mention Rashee Rice, but he's already rostered in 73% of leagues, so I don't think, if we're talking about rookies, let's throw him on that list. If you're talking about old men, rostered in 63% of leagues, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. The way the Cowboys offense has been playing, the passing game, really, Dak since week 6. Cooks has been still inconsistent, but has had some big games because of it. So he could be worth a roster spot, but I'm not going out of my way for brain codes.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Outside of that, not a lot of wide receivers either to go along with this week. So just keep an eye on the waiver wire, see what you got. We record the show pre Monday Night Football, so if this guy's available from that game, just take a look at that game as well.
Is Roshan maybe? Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe Roshan goes off. I think the number one ad this week at tight end is probably Pat Freiermuth.
100%.
He is obviously coming off a 21-point game. It concerns me to just plug and play him because I've said this to Rick in the past. When you're picking up guys off the waiver wire, and you're following the trend of huge fantasy point games, usually the following week it doesn't look good. So it doesn't excite me to start Pat Freiermuth if that's what you're doing this week. But if the target share continues for Pat Freiermuth, where he does get like this game, he had 11 targets. If he does get that amount of targets, on a week-to-week basis, even if it's just 6 to 8, like that's really good for the tight end position. So you want to make sure that you have, Pat Freiermuth on your roster. And even if it's just a speculative ad to put on your bench, he's only rostered in 49% of leagues. So I think you want to make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. And even you could maybe, because of the Matt Canada firing, you could point to that too and be like, maybe with him gone, this is going to just be a sign of things to come for Freiermuth. But he's definitely a must add. And a plug and play, I do agree with you, but he is against Arizona this week, so it is a good matchup.
Yes. Gerald Everett too could be an ad if you're looking for a tight end on a stream. He's facing New England. New England does pretty good against tight ends in fantasy football, but Pats have been terrible, and at some point the defense is going to give up. They're going to be like, I don't want to be here anymore. That's a terrible reason why, and then Everett did have 4 catches, 43 yards, and a touchdown this week. So you're hoping with Everett, if you pick him up and you start him, that he just falls into the end zone.
Yeah, basically.
Higbee's also available, Rick. What are you doing with Higbee?
I don't really care for Higbee, but if you need tight end, you're desperate, go ahead and pick him up. He is against the Browns this week, though. It's not a good matchup, and it's not like he's been a target machine. Like this week, he went off because he had 2 touchdowns, but if he doesn't get a touchdown, he's pretty much worthless.
Last week, the number one ad at tight end was Isaiah Likely because of the Mark Andrews injury.
8 fantasy points this week.
He did have 8 fantasy points this week on 73%.
4 catches for 40 yards, 6 targets. That's not too bad.
It's not too bad at all. He does have a bye week next week, so he's only rostered in 48% of leagues. And if you want to get ahead of it and add him now, you can do that. I don't know what my expectations like. By the time you get to week 14, if he hasn't put together like more than an 8-point game, I just can't trust him in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, that's true. But would you plug and play in week 14 if you you're already in the playoffs. Your playoffs start week 15, and you need a tight end?
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it.
Yeah,
okay.
I probably would too.
Yeah.
Last guy I want to just briefly mention, would you consider Tucker Kraft?
No.
Luke Musgrave's out for the year.
What the hell happened to Luke Musgrave?
I don't know, but he might be out for the year. And Tucker Kraft, they drafted in because they took Musgrave in the 2nd round, and then they took another tight end in the 3rd round, which is Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, to pulling up hats.
He had 9 fantasy points this week.
2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm out on Tucker Kraft.
Fair enough.
I don't want nothing to do with him. All right, any other guys?
Nope.
Okay, there you go. That is your weekly recap. That is your waiver wire show. Be sure to get these guys in your roster for Thursday night football. Or not just for Thursday night football, for week 13.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Week 13.
But we do have Thursday night preview show coming up next, so be sure to check that out. See you later, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.